Hey everyone, Ashley Mailloux, Mike Beer here, taking a look at one of the graded stakes races this Saturday at Monmouth Park. We obviously know the big one is the Haskell, but there's still several graded stakes on the undercard. We're going to focus in on the grade 3 Matchmaker for the fillies and mares on the grass. 1.125 miles is the distance, and it goes as race 5 of 14 on their card. And if you take a look at the 7 entered in this spot, Mike, I guess the commonality, Chad Brown sends out 3 in here. The 1, the 3, and the 5. And I think a lot of people are going to side with either the 3 or the 5 in this field overall.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 of them are, have some kind of a reasonable case to be made for them. But yeah, listen, we're used to seeing Chad Brown load up in these graded stakes races with multiple entries. He's got multiple entries here, and you could make a logical case for any one of the 3.
And it's another 1.125 miles, which is a little interesting. We'll take a look at the time form, U.S. pace projections. Some of these horses come out of a mile and a 16th, and sort of looks like it could maybe be a field. I don't want to say that it's strung out, but really, I don't think there's a ton of speed on paper. Both the 4 and the 5, they've been forward in their last few outings, and I don't really know, Mike, how it's going to unfold early.
Yeah, I don't know either. I mean, the pace projector, yeah, that could certainly be how it plays out. We'll see what they do with No Mo Candy. Sugesta is a sort of a handy kind of a horse, and she will be forward. They don't need to try to put her on the leading here, but they certainly could, and it wouldn't affect her chances. Sacred Wish, the 2, is also a super tactical horse. From an inside post like that, probably a good trip coming for her.
And the 3, Spaladay, has the late pace flag attached to her. We'll talk a little bit about her performance in the Ms. Liberty last time out. Not worried about her maybe being towards the back of the pack early on. But we'll kick it off here with the number 1, Gray Ash on the inside for Chad Brown. Flanagan Racing was 4th last time out in an event in New York, going 1.125 miles, and it was her second start off the layoff. And I guess I have some concerns. Obviously got Lasix in that spot. That didn't really bump her up at all. And it was also the fact that second time off, and she took a lot of play in there.
Yeah, she did. I guess for me, Ashley, it'll depend on what kind of price she is in this race. And, being a Chad Brown horse with a graded stakes win from last year and with Flavian Pratt coming in to ride her, it kind of feels like she probably won't be a great price. But if she was, one of the bigger prices in here, I could excuse her 2 starts so far this year. I'm not going to pretend I loved her last year. She was okay last year. But her first start off the layoff this year, she did not get a good trip in that race, in tight on the rail for a really long way. She studied a couple of different times in that race, and it cost her. Last time she just didn't run that well, but the flip side of that is her stablemate, who won the race, just got absolutely loose on the lead and gave that field no chance to win. She just blew that field out sprinting through the stretch. This horse didn't run well in there, but I'm not sure she had a chance anyway.
The 2, Sacred Wish. This was one that finished 7th last time out in a grade 2 event, Kentucky Derby weekend out at Churchill. And it's interesting. She's 0 for 3 this year. You look at her 2 wins last year, an allowance optional claiming event and a grade 1. And I feel like at her best, Mike, she can be a factor, but I do think she's a little inconsistent.
Yeah, listen, I have nothing bad to say about this horse. She's just a good horse, and she fits really, really well in races like this. I'm not going to sit here another horse. I've never really liked her that much. She's been over here for a long time. I don't think I've ever bet real money on her, and she's been in a bunch of races that I bet on. But she's good, and she could win this race. I'm not going to knock her. I'm not going to try to talk anybody off of her in here because she probably won't be the favorite, and she can win.
The number 3, Spaladay, we'll take a look at her most recent performance, which came at Monmouth Park in a stakes race. And in terms of the trip that she ends up getting, I mean, she's towards the back of the pack early, and Marin was just chilly on her, just waiting. And when she's called upon, to me, I mean, she crushes this field, and she should have, even though she didn't go off favored, she should have been a major factor in here.
I agree. And listen, it's another really impressive run from her. And that's how she wants to be ridden, actually. Just going back and watching any of her races, she's a really strong kicker from off the pace. She wants to sit and make 1 run, and that's when she's at her best. 2 starts back in the Bogey, they tried to do something different with her and put her up there pressing the pace the entire way and setting the race up for one of her stablemates. But she doesn't want to be ridden like that. She wants to sit. She wants to make 1 run. If she gets a clean run into this, she will be charging late.
The 4, No Mo Candy, we saw might be part of the pace in here early, at least, and agree with it. I mean, based on what we've seen in her races, she's never too far off of it. She's typically either in first or second, kind of at those first points of calls throughout her races. And last time out, I mean, and it was just a grade 3. I thought it was a pretty tough field compared to what she had faced before. And she tried. I just don't know if she was ready to roll off the layoff.
Yeah, I think you could maybe be lenient just because of the layoff, but man, I mean, I'm with you. That was a pretty tough field for a grade 3, but she didn't run that well in there. So, we'll see if she doesn't needed the racer. I thought her first two turf starts last year were pretty good.
Mhm.
But I just felt like she kind of took advantage in both of those with really soft trips. So we'll see what kind of trip she gets in here.
The 5 suggestive, you said it, is really handy. Can kind of run from wherever she's placed. If you want to send her to the front, go ahead. She's going to give you a good effort, but she could also sit from off of it. And obviously, the connections have had high hopes for her. She's been in several grade 1s, even last time out. And I have to wonder, last time out, I know it was obviously a tough group for her, but I also wonder if she didn't handle that turf course. A lot of moisture in the grass there compared to anything we had ever seen from her before. And she still gets a big figure, but she only beat 3 other rivals.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, it was such a bog of a turf course there that I think you want to be really lenient. She was in pretty good position, but then she didn't hold it around the final turn. It felt like maybe she wasn't handling it. We'll see. I don't want to make too many excuses for her because she'll be a short price in here. But in my opinion, before she was sidelined last summer, she was one of the best 3-year-old turf fillies in the country, and that was a really strong division last year. And I thought she was right up there with She Feels Pretty and Cinderella's Dream. Obviously, she's had an issue. Her first 2 starts so far this year leave something to be desired, but this is a good spot for her. If she can still run, she's supposed to be really tough in here.
The 6-5 Towns here for Graham Motion was 4th in the Eatontown, and prior to that was 4th in an effort that a couple of exit, right? We've already talked about the race at Churchill, and I preferred her race 2 back. I don't know last time out what happened other than in the Eatontown. They didn't really go that fast. I felt like she might be a little bit closer than she wanted to be, and
Yeah.
I'm willing to forgive her if she's a good price in here. She should be a good price based on the fact that Chad's loaded, but she's one that she's shown glimpses of talent.
Yeah, I agree. I think you will see a decent price on her in here. I'm a fan of hers. I like her, and for the most part, she's another horse who gets really good trips in her races. So that could certainly be the case here. She just falls into the right spot here and makes a run. I think this race might have come up a little too tough for her, but I'm a fan. If she's a price, I could try to get her in there somewhere.
The 7's going to run out the field here for Jorge Delgado, a horse that has plenty of experience at Monmouth Park. And look at her resume. I mean, most of her, kind of victories or good performances have been over this turf course. I think the big thing is, though, hasn't necessarily been at this level of kind of competition in terms of trip. Maybe she'll be mid-pack. I think when you look at her effort last time out, if you're loving it, she got the pace help that she needed. And I don't know if that'll be the case against this group.
Yeah, exactly. That pace really set up well for her. She's pretty good, pretty consistent. Seems versatile enough to get any kind of a trip in a race too. Those are all positives, but I'm not sure she's this good.
All right, so Madame Mischief does round out the field of 7 for the grade 3 Matchmaker, and we'll move to our top picks here in this race. And we're on opposite Chad's in here. I mean, Chad is loaded. We talked about it with 3 runners, and I think in terms of how they're going to play it will be interesting. Spalade and Suggesta. I don't know who's going to be favored.
I don't either. I don't know. Maybe it'll be suggested just because she's dropping out of a grade 1, but it's not like her running lines stand out in here. I'm going to stick with her and hope that she can still run. Chad taking a little step back in class for here probably helps her. I think if she can still run, she wins, and she's going to get a better trip than Spalade, who I think you just have to take Spalade back and make one run. And so Suggesta should have the jump on her. So that was the deciding factor for me. I put them, as my top 2 picks though.
For me, I really like the way Spalade ran last time out. I know obviously we'll need to sort of carve up that trip again. We'll need the pace help. That's probably the biggest concern, right? Is that she might not get any pace in here, but we'll have to see. 5-3-2-1 for Mike, 3-5-2-4 for me. It's race number 5 at Monmouth this Saturday on a big stakes day. It's a grade 3 Matchmaker. Good luck.